So we did, in that analysis that was done by ASG Research, they looked at 2 deployment scenarios. They looked at one where it was a consumer network, and they looked at another one where it was a machine-to-machine network. Basically, in both, there was a couple of things that they found out. Cost savings come from 2 areas on the CapEx side. Cost savings come from collapsing functionality, and cost savings come from the virtualization. So one of the things in our platform is that we actually collapse functionality. So in the same architecture, in the same software image, you can have a P gateway, an S gateway, a GGSN, MME, and then you can have all the GI LAN functions, the DPI, the NAT firewall, and so forth. So collapsing saves you money. And also virtualizing, right? Running on the standard COTS and so forth saves you money. So it showed the difference. It compared the virtualized architecture against the traditional architecture and showing those savings. Because what you're doing in the consumer application, for example, in that application, they were modeling video. So to do that, you had one box that was doing the EPC functions, you had another box that was a load balancer, and you had another box that was doing the video optimization. So right there, you're dealing with 3 boxes versus 1, as an example. That was one of the areas of savings. We also tried to, one of the things ACG was very clear on is they wanted to show realistic deployment. So the analysis was, if the operator capped their existing traditional deployment and then grew with a virtualized deployment, what does that difference look like? So they showed one model where you grew with the traditional architecture, and then the other, it was a cap and grow. And what you could see in that was the amount of OpEx and CapEx savings by moving to the virtualized architecture. You were actually cash flow positive in year 1 and an ROI in less than 3 years. So that's pretty amazing when you think about, and it was a very typical tier 1 call model, and that's all in the research paper as well. The other thing that the research looked at was also deployment times. So it took a look at how long does it take to deploy a virtualized network versus a traditional architecture. And in that situation, I think it was 6 months to deploy the virtualized architecture versus a 15-month deployment for the traditional architecture. And again, you're dealing with 3 platforms versus dealing with 1 platform. You're dealing with 1 version of a code release versus 3 different software images, the testing and integration, the training. It's a very, very robust model that ACG uses to do these calculations. So the savings were substantial.